my friends, Mikkel Rena here. Sorry I'm a little nasally today, but you know, a little sinus trouble. But anyhow, in today's video, I'm just going to be taking this wooden coat hook here that I found. I actually found this at the Dollar Tree, strangely enough. I've never seen them again. This was the only one. It wasn't even in the right section, so it wasn't in the section where they usually sell door hooks and door hangers and command hooks and things. It was like dashed somewhere else. And so I paid only, this was back when prices were $1.50. So they recently went up here in Canada to $1.75, sorry. And so I just grabbed this for my front door, the hallway, so for my kiddos things. So now on the back side, it's going to require me to see that right there. I'm going to have to use hollow door anchors, which I picked up at Home Depot. So I got this package here. So it's hollow door anchors, and it comes with the screws. And because this was all by itself at Dollar Tree, I actually don't know if it originally came with screws or anchors or anything, because the Dollar Tree is pretty good at that. Like usually when they sell anything like this that needs to be hung, they come with screws and anchors. But like I said, this was all by itself. I've never seen them again, anything like it again at any of the other Dollar Tree locations in my city. So I don't know if it was just like one that came by itself by mistake or something. I don't know. It snuck over the border. I have no idea. But yeah, so I'll probably be getting started on that. Trying to decide if I should paint it. That's kind of where I'm stuck now. But I'll show you definitely how I hang it. And hopefully I, get it right and don't have to put multiple holes in the door. But let me do a little bit of thinking about this and see if I'm going to paint it or not. That was the original plan. Otherwise, in the next clip, you'll see what I decided to do.
Okay, my friends, so pretty much as soon as I finished filming, I decided to go ahead and paint. And I'm really happy that I did. It turned out quite lovely. So the color I'm using here is called Breezeway, and it's by Behr, and I usually purchase it at the Home Depot. So this color is a beautiful light turquoise. So depending on the lighting, sometimes it looks like baby blue. Other times it picks up a little bit more of the green, so it looks a little bit sagey. So if you're into those tones, really calming tones, very youthful, this might be a color that you would want to try. Now, I typically use this color on anything that I paint or refinish for my kiddo. So this set of hooks is going to tie in really beautifully with all the other pieces I've done for him. So in a previous video, I did a locker mirror, which is on our fridge, and I'll be decorating these wall hooks the exact same way. So using the Breezeway, and then you'll see me later on incorporate a chalk paint color that's called Maui Sand. Now, Behr does have a similar color to Maui Sand. It's called Pencil Point. So it is a really nice dark gray color, as I mentioned, and it works really nicely as an accent color for the Breezeway. So here I'm just using a little chip brush that I got at Michael's. I think it was around like $2. And this is one of my favorite tricks. I love using blocks, yep, those are building blocks, to just mount things on that I'm painting. So it keeps it off the ground, so in case there's any pooling or anything like that, you're not going to get a whole bunch of lumps and bumps on the back. So I am going to paint the backside. I do like to see the backside of pieces finished, but that's entirely up to you. That's not something that you have to do. I mean, if you're totally content with just the front side, you know what? I hear you, to each his own. Now, I did forget to remove the barcode label from the back, so after the front dried, that's just what I'm doing here. Might have gone faster if I used a hairdryer, but I figured by the time I went upstairs, got the hairdryer, and did all of that shenaniganing, I could just pick the label right off. So on the back side, I did 1 coat of paint. The front side, I ended up doing 2. And the total drying time was around an hour and 20 minutes for everything. Now, one of the things you want to be mindful of, you don't want to get paint into the little holes or those grooves where your screws are going to go, because if you get paint in there, it could clog it up and affect how the screws sit. So you just want to make sure that you paint around those if you are painting the backside. So I just did any little touch-ups. I was just mindful to look out for drips. Drips are really easy to get rid of. When you first do a paint job, they just kind of pick right off with your nail. If they sit longer, it's a little harder and they might take off more paint with them. So you'll require a little bit of sanding and things of that nature, but just keep an eye out for any drips, and you can touch it up with your finger, a wet or damp cloth, the paintbrush itself, and it's super easy peasy. So I'm just touching up or doing the second coat on the front side here, and then I'm going to use my blocks to lean it up against to finish the whole drying process. But this was really fast and really easy. Okay, so by propping up my hooks just on the 2 blocks like this, it allowed the front side, the second coat, and the 1 coat on the back side to dry. So the hooks are pretty long, so I couldn't really balance it any other way, but this worked out perfect. It allowed everything to get hit with air and dry really quickly. Because this is a natural finish, there was nothing on it, no primer or sealer or anything. The paint adhered really well to the wood, and it got a really nice full coverage and really nice look to it. So I'm really happy with that. So once my rack dried, I decided now to go ahead and grab some wooden stars, which is what I typically use to decorate anything that I refinish for my kiddo. So I did have some stars that were unfinished, and I decided to play around with some different sizes. I have small, medium, and large, and typically I paint these in Maui Sand or the Pencil Point by Behr, but today I'll be using Maui Sand. Now, I did have some stars that I had done or finished in the Maui Sand for a previous project, so I was just kind of looking to see what I had finished already, or if I should just start from scratch. And eventually, after I played around with them for a bit, I decided to go ahead and use the unfinished stars, find the sizes that I wanted, and then finish them in the chalk paint. Okay, so this is our Maui Sand chalk paint, and it is by Folk Art. I absolutely love this color. You'll probably see me use it in the majority of my videos, and I will talk about it a lot. What I love about this chalk paint, well, all chalk paint really, is that it dries really, really fast. So I was able to complete this entire project in just a matter of a few hours, literally, and that includes the drying time for the paint. So as I mentioned, the paint probably took an hour and 20 minutes to dry, and the chalk paint dried within, let's say, 20 minutes. And yeah, it was super easy. So I'm just making sure I paint the sides of each star first, and then I'm painting the front side. You don't have to paint the back side because they're going to be glued down onto the wood. So this would be one of those exceptions where I don't paint the back side because you will never see it. So I'm just continuing here. I decided to readjust the camera so you can get a closer look at what I'm doing. I'm just using a little paintbrush, and this is just what I do to relax. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. I didn't say that in the beginning, but if you're new, then you wouldn't have heard me say this, but my crafting is how I process. It's how I self-regulate. It's how I decompress. And it's how I actually problem solve, because when I get into this relaxed state, it really does help me to somehow just solve problems that maybe sometimes seem unsolvable. And in the meantime, I get projects done around my house, so it works out beautifully. So once my stars dried, I just ended up removing them from the sheet that they were drying on. And as I mentioned, it only took about 20 minutes for these to dry, which was great. Now, originally I planned on using my Gorilla Glue, which I just showed you there, carpenter's glue. But as it turned out, it was completely dried out. So it was like a giant ball of gum inside of the bottle. I could not get any glue out of it. I was hoping if I poked it, I might get some glue kind of underneath the gummy part, but no, it was just all like a big wad. So what I ended up using was my glue gun and my Gorilla Glue sticks. And this worked perfectly for the project. So I just placed my stars where I wanted them at first, and then went ahead with the hot glue gun and glued them in place. And this took maybe 4 minutes, not even. So again, this project was super speedy. It actually took way less time than I thought. And if you end up trying it, I'd love to see what you come up with. Feel free to post your pictures below. I'd love to see them. Now, personally, I absolutely love these stars, so I've used them along with the Breezeway in all of the things that I've done for my kiddo, and I just never get tired of them. I am obsessed with stars, real ones, and these little ones, wooden ones as well. So it's kind of bringing a little bit of the universe right into our home. So that's why I keep using stars, in case you're curious, but I thought I'd share that little piece of information with you. So once you finish your painting and gluing your stars on, what you're going to do is take some painter's tape and run it across the back of your wall hooks over top of where you're going to be hanging your door hanger from. So essentially what you're going to be doing here is poking a hole in the frog tape through the holes where the screws are going to be going through. So I'm just tearing off the frog tape here. Then I'm going to take my pencil and poke it into the holes right there like that. That's where the screw is going to go into the hook. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So now this will give me an accurate distance between the two holes in order for me to drill the door. Now, once that's complete, I'm going to take my hanger and I'm going to remove the frog tape. So you need one strip. Make sure you don't tear your tape or you'll have to start over. And now I'm going to stick my tape on the door or wall, whatever it is you're using, whatever surface you're going to be drilling to hang your hooks from. And you're going to make sure that this is as straight as possible. So I'm just eyeballing it. If you're new to my channel, yeah, I eyeball a lot of things. But yeah, I just eyeballed it, and see, now I'm going to drill into where I poked with the pencil. And the drill bit I'm using is what was suggested on the packaging for the hollow door anchors. So I think it's 5/16 drill bit, and that's what the packaging called for. So you see, I just drilled right through the holes that I made in the frog tape. And what I should have done here was remove the frog tape at this point, but I was just so excited about the hole that I just drilled that I forgot to remove the frog tape. And then the other mistake I made was I didn't pay attention to which direction the little springs were facing when I put in this anchor first. So when you put in the anchor, you're supposed to use a little red pin, there it is, and poke it into the anchor, and that's gonna make the little flaps, the little helicopter wings, open inside of the door. Well, I did not realize what mistake I had made at this point. So I couldn't get the pin to go through. I was like, oh, what did I do here? What went wrong? So sometimes when I do this and I make an error, rather than get frustrated, I'll just move on to the next step and then come back at this again while I kind of process. So I went on to the other hole, and here's what's really funny. By fluke, I ended up having it face the right way when I put this one in, so it actually worked out. So that was when I was like, oh, is the other anchor faulty? But no, it's just purely by fluke that I put this one in the way it's supposed to go. So when I put the little red pin in, it sprung open. So here I went back to this one again, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not using enough force. Maybe there's some wood caught in the back of the door. I didn't know what the problem was, but I fiddled with it for a little bit. And then what I decided to do, like you can see there that this one's hollow, the other one wasn't. So I decided to remove this anchor altogether because I was like, okay, I'm not sure what exactly the problem is. Maybe the anchor itself is faulty. I don't know. And then what I did was I realized, oh wait, they had images on the packaging and maybe I inserted it wrong. So after I popped this out, I went back and took a look at the packaging, and that's when I realized that I didn't turn the anchor the right way. So I had put the little helicopter wings going horizontally, right? And they're actually supposed to go in vertically. So I put it in the wrong way. So as I mentioned, it was just purely by coincidence I got the second one in. So I need to make sure it's going vertically up and down. So squeeze it together, and then we're gonna put it in to that hole the right way this time. So squeeze together and then making sure the helicopter wings go vertically. So next I'm just using my little screwdriver here and installing the screws that came with the wall anchor kit. And that was pretty easy. That was pretty straightforward. You can do this manually. You don't have to use electric. For me, this is just much easier and quicker. So I just went ahead and did that. Except, oops, those screws that came with the kit did not fit with the hook. And I did not verify that, but look how cute that looks. Oh my goodness. So I just had to show it to you at that point, and then I thought I was gonna have to go to the Home Depot, and I thought I would have to delay the project by a day, but I went ahead and removed these and the original screws that came with the packaging. And then I decided to kind of just go into my stash and see if I just happened to have anything at all that I could use. And guess what? Yay, I found this little guy. So he's kind of short. He's like half the length of what came with the wall hook kit. So I may still have to go back to Home Depot and get some longer screws. That's probably a good idea. It'll probably help the anchors, hold up in the door. And they worked. So I switched them both out. And there's our finished product. Yay! That worked. Friends, I really hope you like this project. It was so much fun and it was way easier than I thought. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And if you do this project, I would love to see what you come up with. The possibilities are endless, especially when you're working with natural wood. You can do anything. Best of luck, my friends. I hope this inspired you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.